So it was just kind of like...
It's never...
Yeah, there was a lot of dysfunction in that erectile.
Not a lot of dysfunction. Girl.
I'm pretty than a motherfucker. Hoes be looking okay. Yeah, she fucking with me. Is this bitch okay? He said he ain't fucking around. I look at him like okay. I used to be
high volume.
I'm pretty than a motherfucker. Hoes be looking.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Show Me the Monet. It is Wine Down
Wednesday.
And you already know what's going on. It's your girl Monet.
It's your favorite Big Mama Asia. What's good with y'all?
And we are super excited for this week's Wine Down Wednesday because we have some topics in store for you guys. So, do we need to do a recap? Do we need to do a recap of the week? Is there anything crazy that's happened?
Shannon Sharp.
Yo, the Shannon Sharp. Yo, okay.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. And it was like...
It was the growling for me to...
That's my Michelle.
That's my Michelle. Go, baby.
What? Okay. If Talk Me Through It was the person, it's going to be Shannon Sharp.
And I just wonder, did it start like... Well, when I watched his podcast, which is Nightcap or whatever, he
Club
said...
Shay?
No, he has Nightcap too.
Oh.
With Ocho Cinco.
Oh, okay.
He has a couple of them. And because he was just getting on Ocho Cinco not too long ago about being professional and this, that, and the other. And then a couple days later, you know, Shannon's like, they call him Uncle for a reason, old as hell. So he don't know how to work Instagram Live. When have you ever seen Shannon Sharp go live on Instagram?
Right.
So I guess, you know, fiddling with your phone like you butt dial people and all that. And it went through and you heard the clapping. Somebody else had to come up and like have his account. It'd be like me. You have my password and you shut my account down. Yeah, they said people was calling him and everything, but he was so deep in that thing, he ain't know. I was weak. I said the growling.
That is so crazy. And just a quick. Why am I always talking? Never mind. Sips glass. If you haven't already, it's already been 2 episodes. This is now the 3rd. If you have not gotten your dragon glassware, the Barbie wine glasses, go ahead and do it because next episode I'm gonna break out a new set that is also dragon glassware and it's also the Barbie kind. So if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and get it again so you can enjoy Wine Down Wednesday the same way we do. Now, I'm not introducing the topics today. She is. So what do you have for us today, sister?
That's crazy. Today we're going to talk about relationships and dating. So we're talking about red flags, commitment issues, all the above. So my first question for you, sissy.
Okay.
We're going to talk about intimacy and sexual compatibility. That's the first question I put my hand on. So, how important is sexual compatibility and when does the mismatch, now I'm tongue-tied, become a deal breaker?
All right. And don't forget, you guys can also put in your inputs in the comment section. We want to hear from you guys during these talks as well, so that way we get other feedback about these questions.
Definitely.
When it comes to compatibility, now am I necessarily the one to talk? Hold on. When it comes to compatibility, okay. Me personally, so I'm the type of person where I've been had, let's go with sizes. Let's start there. Let's start with sizes. Now, I don't want to say I've been around the block, but I've had the bigs and the smalls. Now, was that small a deal breaker for me? No, because he was kind of a good person. But it kind of also depends on how well you treat me. So I can overlook, sometimes, I can overlook it being on the smaller side of the spectrum. Now, that in turn, those bigger sizes B ain't shit. So it's like
That B ain't shit.
they're not. It's like you can be good in the bedroom and still as a person be ain't shit. So it's not, for me, it's not a compatibility thing. You can get me where I need to be and you can treat me right. Oh, it's a win for me. We're good.
So size don't matter to you, sissy?
No, size does not matter to me, sissy. Not in every case.
Does girth matter?
Yes, girth actually makes a big difference. Let me know if you agree. It could be on the smaller side of the spectrum, but it can have some girth to it. And then as long as you fill in the walls, we can work with that. Not too small though. Wait, let me correct that. It can't be too small. Been there, done that. Listen, won't ever do it again.
I don't want all that big. She don't. But I need some girth. I don't want you too small. You ain't gonna be pinky small, but I need some girth. I need some girth. I do. I do. I've never came across anybody that had me feel like crazy, like, oh, this is a deal breaker. If it was that, other things might have happened and that added to it. But when it comes to sex, there's other things that you can introduce. There's toys. There's other things that you can do to spice it up. There's head. you can teach somebody that.
Wait, before we get, while it's still fresh on my brain, do you think head makes up for what they lack in the size or girth department?
I love head. So
There you
yeah. If you bomb at that and you can do that, I mean, then yeah. Like, I don't have to be penetrated all the time.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like that also depends on the person because they could be equally balanced. But for me, I can't just do head. Like I can't. Like I do need that penetration. I need it.
But then there's where, and I've also seen, because I follow this group where they talk about dating people and different things, and that was one of the problems. Well, it wasn't the size, but she thought he had ED, erectile dysfunction. So he couldn't get it up right and things, but he treated her well. He does everything else well, but she's a very sexual person, so like that lacking is a big deal for her. Where you can kind of take, if the man knows that, you can kind of take the gay route. You know what I'm saying? Which is head and using toys and, you know.
What is the gay route?
I'm saying like dildos and things. Like you.
I just wanted to know why you went for the gay route.
Because that's even why I told you in the group, somebody said that, and I was like, you can, because if they lack in that, and their goal is to make you feel good because they know they're lacking in that, and erectile dysfunction, that's going to make you feel some type of way, but you still want to please your partner. You can find other ways to please your partner.
You know what? I never thought about this, but I think one of my exes had erectile. Never mind. Sorry. Sorry. But he was also, okay, I don't know if this goes hand in hand, but I looked it up and I swear it does. I feel like it goes hand in hand with some diabetics. I'm not going to say all, because he was also a diabetic. But on top of being pequeño, right?
Not pequeño, but yes.
Yes. On top of being pequeño, I should know that, right? On top of being that, it was also never stiff. So it was just kind of like...
It's never...
Yeah, there was a lot of dysfunction in that erectile.
Not a lot of dysfunction. Girl.
Yo! Wait.
So...
And then he also treated me like crap. So, deal breaker, you got tag out.
With the one ex, and I hope you're thinking about what I'm thinking about, who was small, that you were in a relationship with. How did you address that to him? Like, that you weren't, like, all the way satisfied, or you just, like, faked it till you made it?
I faked it till I made it, and I also invested in a toy that was much bigger, so when he would leave,
You would do that.
I would do that instead.
It's okay. It's okay. But at least you saved his little ego.
Yeah, because you gotta do that with the sassies. I didn't want to hurt his feelings and just be like, mm-mm. But I mean,
so if you could go back, would you address it?
Absolutely.
How would you address it?
By not talking to him in the. As soon as I touched it, we wouldn't have gone any further. I was a lot younger too, so it's like, how old was I when I met him?
22, 23. Older, younger than that, 21.
I'm not gonna put a time for. I just know I was a lot younger. Not saying I wasn't experienced at this point, but as far as dealing with men's egos, I wasn't all the way experienced in that department. So I wouldn't actually know how to have that conversation and be like, hey, listen. Like, I don't even think I knew what my full satisfaction was at that time.
Yeah, when you're young, you don't know yet.
I was used to my baby dad at that time. So I'm so used to him, it's kind of just like, okay, if it's not like that, then
okay, so
whatever.
Now if you had that problem, how would you address the issue before it would become a deal breaker and before you have like a long-term relationship?
I would say, let's explore other options. I will give that, like, hey, I really like you, especially if I really like the person. I really like you. There is just a department that I'm not being satisfied in. And instead of, doing whatever with somebody else or leaning towards we ain't doing it that much at all, let's explore other avenues. Then I would bring in, like, let's get a toy or something.
Okay, so you're not saying exploring other people. You're saying exploring other options in the back.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to say, hey, I need to see this other guy from time to time because that'll no, I don't want to do that.
Some people do that. I know somebody who is married and he has a huge head fetish and he likes it all the time, and to give his wife a break, and she's bisexual, so she dibbles and dabbles with the women, and then he dibbles and dabbles, but they never, I mean, they'll bring them home, but the other person goes out so they can have their private moment. But what happens, they know about them doing whatever, but what happens, but they still have their strong marriage so they can keep their relationship going. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So there's those are, because there's people who are poly, so there are people who like more, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with it, whatever floats your boat.
I will say I'm not closed off to it. I would just like a clear understanding in the beginning, before any cheating happens. It's all about that communication part. We got to communicate about it first. Let's have a conversation about what you want and what I want, and if we can come to an agreement, we're good to rock and roll. Otherwise, absolutely not. Don't even think about it. We're going to stay right where you are.
So since we're on the topic of communication,
okay,
how does poor communication become a deal breaker in relationships? Like, what is poor communication to you? How do you like somebody to communicate their feelings, how they're doing, like other things that are going on in their life? Like, my last relationship, part of the reason why we failed is because I felt like I wasn't getting enough communication. If things are going on in your life, I understand that, but communicate with me. You know what I'm saying? Because there are times where you need that break from, you know what I'm saying, all of that. You got everything else. Life be lifing. It's expensive out here. Life be lifing. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what you're going through. The whole you shut down and we don't talk for 2-3 days to a week, I can't do that, because in my head I'm thinking you doing other things, when in reality you have something going on. But I'm not a mind reader. I'm not going to know if you don't tell me.
I agree. I don't disagree.
And we were in a long distance relationship too, so communication and over the phone is definitely like a heavy.
Long distance, man, is a killer. I've been there. I've done the long distance, so I definitely understand how big communication is. Even just in that aspect of long distance, you really have to work hard at communication. You really have to talk about your feelings. You really have to talk about what's going on in your life, because otherwise it's like, what's the point of it? I feel like, and I've also had this issue. My thing is with communication, if there are problems, let's just say, for example, when I was in my last relationship, I made this a point in the beginning. So I still don't even know how this happened. I made it a point to say certain date nights are us communicating. What do you feel like I can do better for you? And this is what I feel like you can do better for me.
Where are we lacking?
Where are we lacking? Where do we need to be stronger? What do we need to do more of? What do we need to do less of? I feel like I was so big on that, almost to a fault. And maybe it got a little misconstrued because towards the end, a lot of those date nights were communication, but arguing. So we'd be at the bar just arguing because now when we're trying to express our feelings, and maybe that was also a barrier, figuring out how to
communicate
effectively though, like without it turning into an argument. It always turns into somebody's not hearing the other person correctly, and either one person shutting down, one person is shouting.
You're listening to argue. You're not really listening to comprehend.
We're not listening to comprehend. Gotcha. And that becomes, when it is hard to listen to comprehend, that's when it really becomes a deal breaker, because at this point you're not even trying to hear me, or I'm not even trying to hear you. So therefore, that's a deal breaker right there. I don't really see resolutions out of it. And then it it festers. Like, let's say date night, with everything I just explained, date night, listening to argue instead of listening to comprehend, all of that comes into play. You never come to a resolution to said problem. I have to break out another bottle.
We are.
We never come to a resolution. So now the only thing on your mind the rest of the day, whether you guys go home together or not, is the argument that you just now had. And now even that's a problem, because now we just argued in front of people. Like, I've had arguments literally at one of my favorite restaurants, the Palos. If you know, you know. I've had multiple arguments at that bar, in that restaurant, and I bet you if I was to go back and ask the bartender, she'd be like, yeah, those arguments were pretty sick. And by the time we left,
y'all were loud at the bar?
We were loud at the bar because, again, trying to get our point across. And at this point, I can be honest, neither one of us are really trying to hear what the other has to say, because it's like my point, my point, my point, your point, your point, your point. Blah. That was a lot to say. But we never got to a resolution.
Y'all got offended, probably just shut down, and you just was like, well, this is how I feel, this is how I feel, this is how I feel, instead of just like, okay, that's how you feel, okay.
Exactly.
This is how I feel.
And it never, I'm not going to put it all on me, because some of those times it'd be like, okay, I do understand where you're coming from. But then trying to get that other person to understand where I'm coming from is just like, I'm talking to a brick wall. No. It's a deal breaker. Once that starts happening, there's no effective communication. We're now listening to argue and to debate and to bark back at one another.
So do y'all feel like y'all had like different communication styles, and that's why like it went the way it went?
Possibly. I can't say for sure even till this day, because to me it was just, you ain't hearing me, I'm trying to hear you. But you know what? Yes, because he wasn't a great talker. If he starts talking too much. Like, now you're going off topic to something else, to something else, to something else. Now you're bringing a whole bunch of other stuff into it.
Donald Trump in the questions.
Right. Like, you...
I'm sorry. He do. You know how, like, it'd be a question, but you going around the question. Like, you ever see the videos where, like, this is the point, but you're going everywhere else?
Yeah, it would be like that. It's like, okay, we're not even talking about A anymore. The main point of this conversation was to talk about point A. Where did you get B, C, D, E, and F from?
And then you want to skip the Z and then come back to A.
Then you want to go here and there and everywhere. And by the time we go to Z and come back to A, we're arguing and we're leaving. Now we're getting in the car, going home,
going nowhere.
Pissed off. Like, we're hot. So it's just like, all right, now that's now festering. Now that's another problem we got to add onto the list of hopefully the next date night of what we need to talk about.
Please drop in the comments your communication styles. How do you feel about communicating? Me, I'm definitely like, I want to hear from you. I like check-ins.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go throughout the day without hearing you at all. right now, luckily, I don't have that problem. We're kind of good. I don't like to argue. You know what I'm saying? I love to debate. Like, this is fine. We could debate all day. But when it comes to, like, being in a relationship and actually talking, like, I like communication. Now I know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to guess. You know what I'm saying? We have these conversations. He knows what I'm doing. He knows I'm doing this with you now. Like,
likewise.
Likewise. It's
may have taken a while to get to this point where we both can say effectively we have partners that.
And he listens. He cares about my feelings. Like, we can have, like, I'm used to being with people where I feel like, well, you know me, I don't ever have a problem with saying what I got to say, but then sometimes it gets to a point where they're not listening to me, so then I'm not going to lie, I have a problem of shutting down. When I feel like you're pissing me off or you're not understanding me, I will just shut down and just be like, F it, like, whatever. But with this, it's like, no, babe, I want to hear your feelings, you know what I'm saying? Like, you hear what I'm saying, we have these conversations, it's never an argument, we talk about it, and that's what I like. Like, you're allowed to have disagreements and have different views on things, but when you're not listening or the disrespect comes into play, because I know people who have relationships and the first thing you want to do is start throwing the B word around and calling people out their name because you're mad because, you know what I'm saying, you're not listening. You want to call people stupid, dumb. There's nothing stupid or dumb. You just got to be there to hear me. You're going to have your point, I'm going to have mine. If we're talking about being in the long term, we're going to have disagreements, but you got to have that communication.
Meet me halfway.
Meet me halfway.
So
exactly.
It is like that. And I feel like another thing with my ex was, like you said, you shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So now looking back at it, when he shut down, I would still continue it instead of just being like, all right, let me take a step back and really see that you're shutting down, because now I'm talking at you. That is one of my toxic traits. I will talk at you and not to you. So I will.
It's the Leo and you're still lying.
Relax.
Roar.
Wow. But I caught myself talking at him, and it wasn't always like that, of course, but at a certain time when you're just fed up and you're really just trying to get your point across, it turns from a conversation to now I feel like I'm yelling at you, I'm berating you, I feel like I'm nagging you.
And now it makes it worse because when you shut down, you ain't trying to hear none of that.
Exactly. Like, it's not. So then it becomes a blow up back.
You also have to learn your part when it's too much, and it's not wrong when it gets heated like that to walk away, take a break real quick, but you still need to address these problems. Get your head straight, because sometimes when you get frustrated like that, some people say things that they truly don't mean, and it's just like out of anger, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, and so, if that keeps happening, that becomes a deal breaker.
And that becomes a problem.
Like, we're not going to keep doing that.
Exactly.
Can't do it. What else you got on the list?
Now I want to talk about boundaries and respect, because that's a huge thing in relationship too. So how do you identify whether someone consistently disrespects your boundaries, and when does that become a deal breaker?
When I talk to you about it the first 5 times and nothing change, so me, and I gotta put my glass down for this.
I'll put the glass down.
Yes, I do. because I wear my heart literally on my sleeve, especially if I really care about you, I really like you. And you know, even in the beginning when you're still trying to learn each other, it's kind of like, all right, you don't fully understand me yet, so I will speak on it. If there's something that I don't like, or I feel like you've crossed a boundary for me, I'm going to speak on it. I'm not going to shut up about it. Or you know what, I'm lying, I might shut up about it the first time. Like, all right, maybe you're not going to notice my attitude, but I got an attitude about it. You know what I'm saying? Which is,
I don't know who don't notice your attitude. I'm sorry.
Anywho, I'm going to talk to you guys. Forget that.
But if they're still getting to know you, but like if you've been in it a couple months already, even though it's still fresh, you could kind of peep when.
I guess it's like
the energy is different, but I'm an energy person, so I can kind of feel that.
Yes, but let's say, for example, of course, key relationship of my life. Excuse me.
Key relationship.
I'm serious. That first couple months when you're really trying to feel somebody out, and they might say something that might cross a boundary, and it's like, okay, not really gonna speak on it right now because it's still fresh. So it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but I'm gonna make a mental note of it. Like, okay, that's something I don't like. Now the second time it happens, now we're gonna speak on it. Now I'm gonna tell you, like, hey, I don't like that. That's crossing a boundary for me.
So how long are you gonna deal with that before it becomes a deal breaker?
You got about 2 times out of me. Not a 5. I'm gonna say about 2, because now that I'm starting to know more of what I want and what I don't want, which is a big thing that comes along the way with certain relationships and experience and things. Now that I'm getting to the meat and potatoes of what I want and what I don't want, yeah, no, you got about the second time I tell you, you're done. And I really used to be a 3 strikes you're out person.
No, I'm still like that.
Like,
I'm tell you about it.
Now, no, we dropped it down to 2.
You'll drop it down to 2. Me, I'm definitely on the 3rd strike. You are out. Like I done told you about it. I'm not about to keep repeating my, especially in the beginning. This is where we're supposed to fix these things.
We get down to 1 strike and you're out, because I ain't got time. If you gonna play, we gonna play ball. Okay.
All right, softball. What should you do when you feel like your partner doesn't respect your privacy or your personal space? Because everybody needs that time to decompress. We're together, yeah, we're building a life together, or we're trying to. When
leave.
All on the first rip?
Yep, leave.
Not even a discussion? They don't go back to the communication thing we just talked about?
It do a little bit. But personal space, what was the other thing you said? Personal space.
And privacy.
And privacy. Comes with trust. I feel like the privacy part at least comes with the trust. Now, if you break that in the beginning, which I wish I would have knew this last year. If you break that trust before we even in an actual relationship, I probably should look the other way, because you don't even know me well enough to disrespect my privacy. You get what I'm saying? Example, during the talking stage, you go through my phone and we're just talking. There's no relationship, there's no exclusive, there's no nothing. That's a problem, because we're not even at the point where we're a boyfriend or girlfriend, we're exclusive, anything like that. So for us to still be in the talking stage, it doesn't matter who else I'm talking to. In my opinion, it's none of your business. Respectfully, if you ask me, I'm going to say, hey, are you talking to somebody else? Sure. This person, whatever. And this is where I'm at with them. But ask me. Don't invade my privacy and go through my phone.
I can understand. That whole going through the phone stuff was early 20s, teenage Asia. I learned my lesson, because I ain't going through a whole phone ever again. Because you go through it, and then you find stuff you don't even want to see. What's done in the dark, it comes to the light. I'm not doing that no more.
You won't eat, sleep,
nothing. You over
3 days.
Your heart hurts.
Down the bathroom wall like I was last September.
I did that 4 years ago, so I definitely get it. I looked at phones and I found something I didn't want to see.
But I also want to throw in there that was not my first inkling.
Right.
So it's like going through the phone. Like I said, don't do it through a talking stage. That's first and foremost.
See, going back to your talking stage thing too. To me, when it comes to the whole, you're like going through the phones because who I'm talking to is who I'm talking to type thing. Talking stage, some people automatically like address like, okay, I want to be the only person you're talking to in that moment, like you're trying to be exclusive. So
some people don't.
And then some people don't. So what are you doing is what you're doing. But that's where it goes back to the communication where, okay, are we exclusive or are we not? Now, if you're talking to whoever and we're just talking, then you can't get mad at whatever I'm doing. But like I said, from the rip, from the first date, me and my man was like, all right, it's exclusive.
Cut all that off.
Yeah. And if we feel like this ain't working, then eventually we'll move on and do whatever. But right now, we kind of just want to focus on each other because it kind of does. Juggling multiple people is a lot.
It is.
And I just didn't want to deal with it. So we made it exclusive.
Excuse me. Jeez.
So, but if you did see me talking to Tom, Dick, Joe, and Harry, then you find out, then you have every reason to get mad because we said we're exclusive. That's breaking the trust. Now you're breaking the trust before we even get a chance to even get to the relationship.
But that's what I'm saying. If we in that talking stage, now we can have the conversation. Absolutely, we can have the conversation, but don't go through my phone. Because for what? You gonna find something you're upset about and do what? Stop talking to me? Okay, I was already talking to 3 other people. You just eliminated yourself from the equation.
Now you took yourself off the roster.
You took yourself. What? You took yourself off the roster. That was perfect. Perfect. Cheers. Because I like that. You took yourself off the roster. Why? Because one, now.
You didn't even put yourself on the bench. You took yourself off.
You ain't kicked out. Never make it up the
You
bat.
are the Winkest Link. Goodbye.
You've never made it up to bat, bro. Because you've already, not only did you invade my privacy, you disrespected my boundaries, but now you've already painted yourself as a red flag. So now in the talking stage, if you go through my phone, do I have to worry about in another 2 months you're going to go through my phone again? Or if we're exclusive or we're in a committed relationship, are you going to keep going through my phone? Because what's that going to create? Trust issues. That means you didn't trust me from day one at all. You didn't trust me. And then what comes with that? Oh, you out doing this with this guy. No, I'm not. Oh, you with your whole ass friends.
I was like, you with your whole friends. Go back to last episode.
I know you got some numbers while you was out with your whole friends. What? I didn't do anything. And your phone could be completely empty, but you're already creating that dynamic that is like, okay, you don't trust me. And then,
do you think that's not like not trusting you, but like their own, like I'm going back to previous episodes, trauma that's making them do that to you?
Absolutely. And that plays a part too. But you cannot hold me accountable for your unresolved trauma. Period. You cannot hold me accountable because you didn't heal from that previous trauma. You can't. You can, but that's not going to do anything but push me away.
Right.
That's not going to. Now it's just like, okay, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you're pushing me away at that point.
So is that one of your deal breakers?
That's absolutely a deal breaker.
What else are your deal breakers?
Stinky breath. Hygiene is a big deal breaker for me too. If I don't hear at least every other day, not even for a guy, I will say for a guy, every other day, babe, I'm about to get in the shower. Okay, I like hearing that because I say it a lot.
It's crazy. I think that was one of the things where my man was like, yo, every time I talk to you, it seems like you washing up, you get in the shower, you doing something. Duh, but he do the same thing. I definitely say hygiene is a big thing because I'm not doing no stinky nothing. We are
I don't like
too
sweaty
grown
balls
for that. Yeah, no.
I don't like sweaty balls. I don't like to touch them.
Brush your teeth. I don't want to smell your breath. The only time I give you passes in the morning.
Early in the morning, and you roll over and give me a kiss.
But when we get up to wash our face and brush our teeth,
I'm actually a little iffy about that too. I'm not gonna lie. I really don't like morning kisses. Like I will accept them if I really am into the person, but I don't like morning breath kisses. I don't even like my kids talking to me in the morning. Even the baby. Don't say nothing to me right now.
I can't. We can't.
She can't even brush her teeth yet, but I don't even want. I mean, I could. Technically, I can because she has enough teeth. But I mean, I don't want to smell my breast milk on your mouth right now. That's how I feel. TJ, I'll tell him quick, bro, go brush your teeth right now, please, immediately.
So, do you feel like you should discuss these things early on in a relationship, or do you feel like they should just naturally reveal themselves? Like, are you gonna wait for them to think?
A person can lie their way through it. Like, let's say you're dating somebody for like 2 months, and every time you see them, you know, their breath doesn't stink or whatever the case may be. Let's say eventually you move in together and you start noticing a pattern of them not brushing their teeth. They put on a whole facade for 3 months brushing their teeth, and when you live together, they ain't do none of that. What happened to? Wait a second. Where'd that person go?
Where the brush and the Colgate at? And
yeah. Go. I don't even want to get on the story of toothbrushes because I know somebody's walking around with doo-doo breath. I'm not going to say why either.
Sister girl.
I really hope they don't have that same toothbrush. I'm
wondering. I
don't want to ask.
I'm truly curious. But like, I don't know.
What are your deal breakers, sissy?
Definitely hygiene. I definitely, if you can't take care of yourself as a man when you reach a certain age, it's like, because I want a provider.
Ooh, that's a big one.
I want a provider. I want a problem solver. I think that's the word you use. Like,
problem solver.
Like that.
That is, first of all, problem solver is my favorite phrase. Problem solver. You better be a problem solver. If not, what am I talking to you for? Now, what do I mean by problem solver, sissy? Please give them an example of when I say problem solver.
I can give you an example of this week. My car has had an issue. I told my man's like, yo, I'm stressing out because my seat's not moving, this, that, and the other.
When I inhale, my titty make the horn honk. Listen. You see that? That ain't right.
I hear it.
Next day, he came with his whole thing of tools and went right to AutoZone, bought the thing, put it in there, started fixing my light, everything I needed. I didn't even have to ask nor lift the finger. I set my big chunky ass in that car and watched him do everything.
Yeah.
Or I got out and I just held the flashlight so you could see. I ain't have to do nothing. And that's what I like.
That is what I...
And you know what's crazy? It took me a minute to accept how he is because I'm so used to like... If I have a problem solver, it's my parents, it's me, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I got to get it done. He was like, why are you stressing about it? I got you.
Absolutely.
Those are the things that I like. That makes me... Anyway.
Problem solvers make me so happy inside.
Quickest way to get it.
And here's a negative example, right? And I will test the waters in the beginning. Like, there are so many people, and some of them might see this video and then wonder why they don't talk to me no more. And this is why. So I will give an example. There's one guy, right? And like I said, I will test. So whether I have something really going on or not, I just want to see a response. And this was a couple years ago. But this actually did happen. I had a flat tire. I think I was talking to about 2 different guys at that point. Like, not even talking to, but, you know, texting, whatever. They claimed to really like me. Cool. When I sent the same text to both of them the exact same way. I am so stressed out. I have a flat tire. You want to know what those responses were? Both of them.
That's crazy.
Damn, that is crazy. Damn, I hope you figure it out.
These questions you asking me, like you discombobulating me up here, like.
And even if you can't get to me because you're working or you're with your kids or whatever, it's like,
I'm appalled.
Give me suggestions. Help me out. Help me figure it out.
Call
AAA.
Like, that's the most basic thing you
or
could say.
Do you have AAA? I have AAA. Do you want to use mine? Something.
You can't get to me like, we're gonna figure it out. Even if it's like, hey, wherever your car is, leave it there. We'll come back and we'll figure it out later. I don't care if it's get you an Uber home. They didn't even know if I was stranded. Like, they didn't know whether I was home or not. I was, thank God, but I really did have a flat tire. Luckily for me, I need wood. Oh my God.
I'm gonna knock on the side of this.
Knock on wood. Luckily, when I happen to get a flat tire, I'm always home. So I'll always walk outside to it. But nevertheless, again, something I got to figure out on my own. Instead of being someone that's really into me, being like, hey, what was the on Risa Tisa when she started with that on the first date, even though, you know, what's it called, it wasn't shit. But he was like, hey, let's go get you a tire. What? Like, that's great.
That's how he got her.
That's how he got her. But still, it's consistently being a problem solver, though. Not just solve a problem here and there. Because if you're looking for something long-term with me, if you show me problem solver in the beginning, I'm expecting that throughout. You're setting the tone and the standard already that you are a problem solver. My favorite phrase, again, I can't say it enough. Baby, if he is not a problem solver, goodbye.
Even with, you know, I'm at the current job I'm at, I'm bored. I'm tired of it. I can't stand it. I'm bored. It's, hey, I do this. You're such a caregiver. I can tell by your personality, hey, why don't you try X, Y, and Z?
Oh.
Or why don't you try doing this, or why don't you go to school for this, because I can see you doing X, Y, and Z, like giving me examples and just different things to try out.
Right.
Now, I'm in the process of, doing that now, but it was like, oh, damn, you really care, because the previous person, it was just like, well, damn, you need to figure that out. Like, and then it was, I'm kind of masculine because I work at a warehouse. What does that have to do with me?
Where is your masculine to take me out of this warehouse? What? Oh, God.
Where's your suggestion to even help me? Yes, I'm looking, but even with this current job, there's no, the one I'm trying to go for, there's no advertisement. There's no, you know how you sit and watch TV? Mm-hmm. Remember the one thing we had? You're sitting on your butt all day.
Sitting on the couch, you're watching TV, and your life is passing you by. You keep procrastinating.
You know what I'm saying? That one, that was on BET that we grew up listening to. Like, there's no advertisement for that. So he was like, hey, why don't you try this, that, and the other? You get paid to train, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah,
so
blah, blah, blah.
That you had to
work on.
Fine.
Yeah. But I like that. So, back to deal breakers, not being a problem solver. Like, I know in the first month or two, you're not going to be all crazy. You might make suggestions, but you're not going to go crazy out of your way to do things. But, like, in the long run, that's what I want.
No dates.
Yeah, not giving me, not taking me out. And I'm love language. We're going to stay in the whole relationship thing. I'm very much quality time and physical touch and things like that. So you don't have to necessarily take me to a 5-star restaurant and do the most expensive money. The first date me and my man went on was a date, but like other things after that, I love sunsets. We went right to where the water was and just talked and had some drink. We bought drinks and we just talked and watched the sunset. I'm very much a views person. I love the water. You know what I'm saying? I love being by the water. Things like that. Little picnics. There's so many little dates that you can do that doesn't involve you spending a whole bunch of money, but just getting to you can get to know the person and do other things. Like, I just want to know that I'm on your mind and you do want to spend time with me. Oh. Those are the type of dates that I like. So not putting in any real effort is a problem. I talked to a person that $80, $100 on a date was too much for you, and then you asking me for some bread to put in. Why am I putting bread in? You asked me out. This was your choice. That's weird.
Don't get me started.
Whatever. At one point, kids was a deal breaker because I come with none. But this day and age where we're pushing 30, it's kind of hard to find people.
Far few in between, sweetheart.
It's kind of hard. I feel like I'm the rarity of people who just don't have kids.
You're the rarity. My man is the rarity.
You know what I'm saying? Who don't have kids and actually have like a good head on their shoulders, and who actually has a drive to go do things. So kids isn't a deal breaker if you are an active parent, because if I see how you are, that's going to make me, I'm cool with that, because if I happen to get pregnant, we get to the point where we're like that and I have a kid, like I know you're going to be there. So if I see how you are with your kids aren't all the way to deal breaker. But if you got like over 4 or 5, I can't. You didn't, and it depends. Like, if it was in a previous marriage or a previous relationship and you had 3 kids with that girl or whoever, whatever. But if you out here with 3, 4, 5 baby moms and you got all these kids, I can't do that. 22 kids, 21 baby mother, real bad man, or whatever he said.
How many children do you have?
23, 22 baby mother. Real bad man.
I can't do that. That's too much for me. I can't. That is a deal breaker for me. Take care of them. What was that one video? The girl was like, you over here worried about me. Help that girl with them babies. You know what I'm saying? Take care of them damn kids.
Yeah.
Like, you over here worried about
serious.
me. I'm trying to do the most. You neglecting your kids. So that's a deal breaker. There's a couple of them.
Another one I want to add is no ambition. That no ambition.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
it makes me so mad. And I think it's more because I'm such a dreamer and because I'm willing to try anything once. Like, you don't know what you can do unless you try. But if you're not even spitting out dreams to me, if you have no plan, like, if you don't have a plan for yourself, there's no way you're going to have a plan for me.
Especially at this big damn age.
A bigger age. And I'm sorry, if you're 30s to 40s, I'm going to say that is an in-between, because most of the time by 30, you should have a plan. That's to me, that's drop in the comments, but to me, you should have a plan by your 30s. But if you're pushing mid-30s and I have not heard you speak on any type of actual goal, I don't care if you say my goal is to have an 850 credit score. I would be ecstatic to hear that. But you also have to have the motion behind it. I like a dreamer too. Strive for the stars.
This season, I feel like is the most where you start meeting people with no ambition. It's starting to get cold. So now you have hobosexuals. That's what I call them. who don't have their own crib, and now you trying to find a girl to latch on to so you can stay warm. So you got some place you want to drive this girl car. You want to use their stuff. Like,
where pay your rent.
Yeah, like, where is your ambition, sir? Where is your stuff? And granted, times are hard, things happen, whatever. But you got to have something, even if you got a roommate or something.
What are you doing to get back up?
Thank you.
Like, what?
We're going to fall, but what do you do? You're being stagnant. What do you do to
There ain't
progress?
no way. I'm in no way, shape, or form perfect. There is still so much I want to do in places I want to be. There have been times I didn't have a car, or it broke down, I had to get rid of it, whatever the case may be. But I bet you I made a plan. I'm going to get me another car. I'm going to start somewhere.
At that point, if you're down that bad, you don't need to be looking for a relationship.
You don't, because you don't even have yourself together. And then, and what grinds my gears, and you know what I'm about to say, you have the audacity to not have yourself together. Have a woman come in and be like, you know what, give you the benefit of the doubt, you fall down on hard times, but you're a good person. And you guys, you will hear me say this a lot, you cannot fall for the potential. Every time. But you have a good woman come in and want to help you and be like, you know what, sometimes you do just need a little push. You just need a little help.
See the potential and you're working on it, it's different. But if you just stand there and you relying on a woman and you're a man and you're supposed to be a provider, that's what gets me. And then you want to tell me I'm too masculine, but if I'm solving your problems and taking care of you, I am the nigga.
What do I need you for?
Or the man. What do I need you for?
I don't need you at that point, because it's like,
y'all wonder what.
But then tell us we're so independent. Well, what do you expect? You can't even think for yourself. I'm not about to be a secretary. You should have a game plan, period. I have my own little separate game plan, of course, because you always want to have your own.
Mm-hmm.
But what is your plan? What are your goals?
And I'm here to be a cheerleader, but I'm not here to be your mother. And that's your problem. Y'all be looking for mothers and wives. I'm not your mother. I'm not going to do that. I'm not here to take care of you in that way. I'm not here to pay your bills. Like, to me, that's weird.
I am your partner, not your parent.
I'm your co-pilot. But you got to drive this. You got to drive this damn plane. But I'm here to help you.
Exactly.
I'm here.
That's a good way to put it. I'm the co-pilot. I got you. We ain't gonna fall.
You gotta steer this, y'all.
But you gotta know what you're doing. You ain't gonna steer me into a brick wall.
Oh, I'm the leader. But what are you leading? You can't even lead this damn house. Why gotta?
You can't even lead the Jordans you've been walking in for 3 to 6 months. You can't even lead there. And you think, and again, giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, it's like, okay, sometimes I understand. I really understand sometimes you need help. But you gotta want to do it for yourself too. Don't let me come in and now I feel like I'm doing everything. Down there, I promise you, if I'm in there and you ain't doing nothing and I gotta take out the trash, I'm gonna knock your head off. Yeah, you darn right. If I'm the one with the most money coming in, you better be damn right them dishes better be done. You are vacuuming. You are cleaning the bathroom. You are doing that because I'm the breadwinner. You get to sit back and do nothing. Literally.
I definitely want to be the one like, okay, you're handling it. I work because I want to, and I work because,
Right.
like, it's my extra money. It's our extra money.
Mm-hmm.
But you're the main one.
Oh, man.
I can't do the whole, like, I'm in charge. If I got to be in charge, I might as well live in my own shit by myself.
Right. It less stress. And then I don't got to worry about arguments. I don't got to... Who am I arguing
raise
with?
a man.
What K. Michelle say? Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm not doing it. And then it also...
Bam.
It makes me
in
feel
grandma words.
so good. Bam, you're right. Shout out to Barb. It makes me feel so good for a man to be like, don't worry about it, babe. I got it. Oh, what? You what? Say it again. You got it? Oh. What time you want it tonight? When you get back, what you want for dinner? Your clothes will be ready. Everything. Babe, I got all of that. All you gotta do is take care of me.
Let me be a woman.
Yeah, let me be a woman. Take care of me. But you can't tell the sassies
you want the traditional woman, but you can't be a traditional man.
At all.
And that's what grinds my gears. That's why I be having to stay off Facebook and social media to keep my mouth shut, because that's where the debates will happen and I start getting on y'all.
What they be saying? Oh man, what was it? Oh, it's stuff that you would be doing anyway. That grinds my gears a lot. Cause it's like, isn't it, here go the sassies that claim otherwise, but whatever. The man's job to come in and make your life easier. Is that not? But then they want to start shouting, oh, well, women wanted equal rights. Equality. Okay, that's for them.
So you think that 50-50 shouldn't be a thing?
Man, please. If the woman wants it to be 50-50, I mean, different strokes for different folks.
Mm-hmm.
But is that actually the dynamic that even the woman wants? No, I'm sure every woman would love a man to just be like, just sit back and relax. I got it.
You take the main bills. I'll take the small ones.
I'll pay the Netflix.
I'll pay the Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi, the Netflix.
Little phone bill, whatever.
The phone bill, that's perfect.
My own car note.
Yes.
But, like, the big bills in this house, I feel like should be you. And I'll take care of the kids. I'll take care of the house.
I'll cook the dinner. I'll wash the clothes.
Exactly. But I need you to do your part.
Exactly.
It's a give and take thing, not just me just...
Exactly.
Give. Like, that to me is...
It's different strokes for different folks, but I cannot stand when the sassies throw in that woman equality, women wanted equality. It's just like, okay, I want to be like my grandma. My grandma had to do nothing. My grandma cooked, cleaned, washed dishes, raised the kids. Somebody's got to be home to raise them kids.
I watched my mom have to be the man damn near all my life.
Same.
And I don't want to have to deal with that.
Same.
She's strong, and I think that's where I'm at, where it's like, okay, I'm used to trying to figure out the problem by myself or with her or whoever, but shout out to having parents that are active.
Yep.
But if we're in a relationship, I feel like it shouldn't have to be me all the time.
And that's what's wrong with these men these days, is that, oh, I've seen my mom struggle and look how I turned out. Yeah,
look at how you turned out.
Wanted your woman to also struggle the same way your mama did. No, why do you think that's okay? Do you think that's what your mother wanted? That's what I want to ask them. That's what I want to ask to those men that feel that way. Do you think your single mother that did it all wanted to be a single mom that did it all? That's a serious question. I promise I need direct answers, because there's no way.
And that's my mom now. She got a man that does everything for her, and she's so used to running, she don't even know how to take it, because I'm going 28 in like 18 days, and in my 20, hey, you already there. You beat me to it. But in my almost 28 years of living, probably good 23 of them, even in a marriage, I've watched her damn near be like a single mom. And I don't like that. It's been coming here, ruin your life, ruin your credit, ruin the bills of your house. Like if you gonna do all that and you're not gonna be a leader, you're not gonna take care of the house. What do I need you for? I can do bad all by myself.
Absolutely.
I don't need you at that point.
Exactly. But
I do need the love. I need the other things, but I also need you to be there. Part of the love and the caring is that, a provider. So a deal breaker is definitely you not being a provider or not even showing me that you have the potential to be one and you're not working on it.
Potential is out.
If you have the potential and you're working on it, if you're working, you're actively working on it. You're going to school. You're actively looking for jobs because sometimes it's hard as hell. You're working on it. You get what I'm saying? It's you being stagnant. It's you wanting to be in a house. You want somebody else you want to sit here and smoke weed all day and play your game and act like, life ain't a thing. I don't like that.
I can't stand it.
I don't like that.
That's a big one. You definitely got $20 to $40 for some weed, but you don't got $20 to $40 to put in my car to go to work.
That's what I'm saying. But when do you recognize your priorities?
It need to happen by the time you're 30. How about that? I'm sorry. I'm going to put an age on it because there's no way. And one of my old best friends, older guy, because we're not as close as we used to be, Glenn, he was like, you don't really start getting your shit together until you're in your 30s. And then he was like, but you want to have a plan before you're 30. Why? Because those 30s is going to fly by quicker than your 20s.
Because I'm not all the way there. I still have things I need to work on, but I'm actively working on them.
Yep.
And that's the thing.
Everything I said I wanted to do, I'm getting a roll on it. I let one little mishap stop me.
Little hiccup.
Not being a provider, So I had to take the reins on a lot of stuff and also take up the emotional that came behind it. But we back in action.
You're there.
And we're back.
So,
brief intermission.
Sister girl.
This
is my last topic, and we can wrap this thing up. Trust and honesty.
Lord have mercy.
Is a big thing for me too. So, how important is honesty in a relationship? And what are some deal breakers related to dishonesty?
All right. I'm going to put it this way. I feel like there is not, unless it's a good surprise, don't lie. What is the point? I just feel like it causes so much disruption and doubt, and just be honest. It's like, me being a Leo, honesty comes with loyalty. They come hand in hand. Because if you're willing to lie to me, you're willing to be unloyal to me too. Therefore, there's no trust if we have no honesty. Because how can I stand on your word if you can't even be honest about little things? Especially if you lie about little things. Little things can turn to big things really, really quick. Don't do that.
Definitely.
What's the point? Don't tell me the sky is blue and the sky ain't blue. The sky black right now.
It's great right now. It's a gloomy day. Ain't no sun out.
No. If you lying about taking out the trash, you gonna lie about you went to see that girl around the corner. You're gonna lie about it. It just creates distrust, and if you don't have trust in your relationship, you don't have anything. It's not. Gotta be honest. Just be honest.
Definitely. So, if you get into the point with dishonesty, do you feel like it's possible to rebuild a relationship after that? Like, even with infidelity? Because that's a big one that I feel like is a lot of problems.
Okay. It is possible. And I'm going to tell you why. And you know me, usually I'll be like, nope, not possible. Get out of there immediately. It is possible if you are both willing to do the groundwork. One, understanding what happened, why it happened, not necessarily placing blame. Now, for example, when the first little mishap happened, I did a lot of research on this specific question, rebuilding trust after there has been infidelity.
Yes.
And a big thing I tried to get my partner at that time to understand is that no matter how many times I bring it up, you have to deal with it. It shouldn't just be, oh, we're still talking about this. You didn't get over this yet. Because now it's feeling like you're invalidating my feelings. It doesn't matter if it takes me 6 months to let it go. You or that said person is supposed to understand you caused this. You can't look at me for my reactions or my questions or my comments or my concerns and be like, get over it. Because at that point, that's just making me feel like, okay, well, you don't care. You're just going to do it again. If both people are willing to do the groundwork, and if there's not saying that there is any reason whatsoever under the sun to cheat, seriously. But if there are particular reasons why said person cheated that maybe, let's say, I wasn't doing enough of, or whatever the case may be, talk to me about them.
So communication comes into play.
Communication comes into play. Talk to me about that. So that way we can work together. Again, do the groundwork. It can be frustrating, but it is possible. Because, like a dummy, I did start to rebuild that trust when it did look like we were doing the groundwork. Excuse me, that groundwork goes out of the window. But then at that point, what groundwork did you actually do? Because I did get to a point where I felt like I was doing all the groundwork.
Groundwork.
Yes, I felt like I was doing it all. I'm in the ring fighting for it. So
gotta be the both, but you also gotta be willing to let them do the groundwork and not beat them down for said mistake. Like, okay, it happened. Y'all talked about it. If you're working on it, okay, your feelings are valid. Your feelings are your feelings. But if you're going to take that person back, then you have to let them be able to build.
Yeah, they got to build it. But I don't want to go and have a conversation about it. Like, oh, I'm still, let's even say if it was 3 months later, I'm still feeling some type of way about this part of what you did. If you then look at me and tell me, why are you still on the topic? Well, clearly it's making me feel some type of way. I cannot stand that invalid feelings thing, but we'll get into that.
But you know what's crazy about that, though? Since we're talking about infidelity, it's like men can do it and they expect you to get over it, but you ain't gotta smash the dude. You could have just entertained a little conversation and their whole world is crumbled and you're a whore. Like, wait, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Rip their heart out of their chest, boy, I'll tell you.
Men can't take what they dish out sometimes. I'm not saying all of them before you get your panties in a bunch, your drawers in a bunch. You know what I'm saying? But for the sassies, as we call them out there, but
we're going to define sassies for you in the next episode, by the way. We got into it a little bit on this episode, but we're going to define who we call the sassies.
Not who we call the sassies.
Yeah.
But you can't dish it out and then not take it. Of like, course. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying eye for an eye just because he cheated, you go out and do the same thing, but I'm just saying in general, like.
Let me tell you something. Because men believe, not all, sorry, sassies, men believe that there is a double standard. You can't do what he does because he has an erectile with a dysfunction.
Now we back to the ED. You get on my nerve.
I am kidding. Oh my God, I'm kidding. However, they feel as though because they have that piece of them that they don't have the same standards as a woman. Oh, you're not supposed to give it up to everybody. It's too precious. You're not supposed to do any of that. You're not supposed to engage in any of those activities. You're supposed to stay upright and tight and holy.
They can have 130 bodies, but you gotta have 5.
230 bodies. But you can't have more than 3.
And I ain't telling you go out and pop it all crazy, but I mean, your body's your body. I'm definitely your body, your choice, but to me, it's hypocritical. You can go and smash that whole list of What's that one song? It's Brenda, Letitia,
Keisha.
LaShawn, Liz, and Felicia. Yeah, you can't be messing with all them, and I'm just supposed to mess with John and Harry.
Not even just John.
Yeah,
That's what they expect. It's just John. There ain't no Harry. There ain't no Tom, Dick, nothing.
I seen this episode on Love Island. The man had his
Here
name
we
was
go with
Coy.
Love Island.
Yo,
I've
I like
never
my
watched.
reality shows. I'm not going to lie. I'm one
I've
of them.
never watched an episode a day in my
But
life.
this is just an example. It was one of them little exercise games, and he had like 120 something bodies, and the girl had, what was it, 15, 20? I can't remember. And he was just like, oh my God, you lied. You didn't tell me all this. You're a whore. I'm like, you're like quadruple of like past that of what she got.
And another
So
thing is,
it's kind of hypocritical. And wouldn't you want to take care of your body? Like your body's your temple anyway. So why can't you appreciate your body?
value.
Yeah, and value your body like the women is
Like you
supposed
feel
to.
like you're supposed to hold the women to. Like, but at the same time, it's like, if you like me for who I am right here, right now, what does any of my past matter? As long as I'm clean, that means there ain't no STDs. That means I'm hygienic. That means my parts ain't falling off. What is you worried about it for?
And when do we get to the age where, I mean, body count matters, but don't matter? Like, you're not gonna go asking those questions like, what's your body count?
Shouldn't ask at all.
Me and my man ain't never had that conversation about like,
Neither have I.
how many is it? I mean, you kind of got around a ballpark if you feel like discussing that, but like,
Neither have I.
if you don't want to, I don't feel like that has to be a necessary discussion. The discussion should be, are you clean?
Let's go to the clinic. Let's have that discussion. Paper for paper. Let's go paper for paper. Give me yours, I give you mine.
Basically.
Let's do that. Not what's your body count. Oh, God.
So, remember how I said, is it ever possible to rebuild a relationship after a major trust issue such as infidelity, right? And we were discussing that. So after that, my question is, how do you navigate through those situations when your partner lies, even if it is small?
Up front, to be honest. Because if they already lied, in my opinion, now let's keep in mind this is always my opinion. Now let's say, because I am learning from experience, there are a lot of things in my previous relationship I wished I nipped in the butt as soon as I knew
In the
it
very
was a
beginning.
lie.
Okay.
But then again,
Excuse me.
I like to play games too, right? So I like to play games. So I'm gonna let you build it up. I'm gonna let you build up your life so you can catch yourself. But sometimes I feel like it's not even worth it.
Stupid games win stupid prizes.
Yeah, well, I played that stupid game and I won a stupid prize because it was a stupid man. Like, what do you mean? What are we talking about? It was a stupid man. Like, that's just as simple. That was my stupid prize. Like,
Was the man?
Was the man. That was my stupid prize. But at the time, I wish there were different things that I would have nipped in the butt as soon as I caught it. But honestly, like I said, if you lie about little things, you're gonna lie about big things.
So that's like a red flag.
Red flag immediately. Because what is the point? What did you lie for? What did you lie for? To save my feelings? You're not saving my feelings.
So when is it time to walk away from that relationship?
I would say, depending on if you nip that lie or if you kind of let them trickle over. That first big lie, get out of there. There's a bunch of little lies, and there may never ever be a big lie.
So what do you consider a little lie?
Honey, I promise I'm going to take out the trash after work, and the trash is still not out by the next day. You lied to me, because I asked you to take the trash out yesterday. What? You liar. Honey, I put gas in the car. I go outside, there ain't no gas in the damn car. You lied. Like, what did you lie for? Little petty things like that, but they're little petty things. But again, they can also trickle over to big things depending on the type of man it is. But that, never mind. Your turn, because no. I said a whole lot and nothing at the same time, but I was getting a little amped up on the inside. Yeah. PTSD, y'all. PTSD. Leave the liars alone. Just leave them alone. Matter of fact, leave them alone at the first lie. I don't care if they lie about the trash. I don't care what they lie about. If it's not a good lie or a surprise that is for you, leave. Sorry.
So, a big lie for me, like I said, I was talking to this guy, and when we were talking about, the basic stuff, your name, your age, blah, 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 do you have any kids? Woo, woo, woo. This mofo said he ain't had no kids. So, eventually down the line, we eventually stopped talking for other reasons. It was so long ago, I can't even remember said reason why. And I eventually found out he was talking to me and some other girl, and then he had a girlfriend within that time while we were talking. Like, he ended up making that girl his girlfriend while we were still in the midst of talking. But, again, that was something I found later. Anyway, I just happened to be Facebook friends with him. And I don't know what made me look through his, deep into his photos. And he was tagged in, a pregnancy shoot thing with his baby mother. I thought you didn't have any kids. Then I go looking on the baby mom's page, and I see the kid that look exactly like that nigga. Why are we lying about having kids?
You are the father.
That's
a big lie.
Nah, that is a big lie. And like I said before, a deal breaker is multiple kids that you don't take care of. And the crazy thing is, I remember hearing kids in the back, a kid in the background and stuff, but he'd be like, "Oh, that's my sister's," blah 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 blah, which would be in the same way of if I was watching Cameron or Tej, okay, that's just my niece, my nephew, whatever. You're not thinking nothing of it. You're lying.
If I say that, that's my kids.
That's your kids, and that's a lie. You look crazy. Why are you lying? That's the thing. It's as a man, why would you lie about your kids? Because eventually, if we were going to go any further, I'm going to find out you have a kid.
Because he didn't plan on going any further. And we're going to get into that. Signs of not going any further on the next
episode.
Week's Wind Down Wednesday. Because might as well finish the cup, right?
Only got a little swig, Woo!
I love Wind Down Wednesdays. And you guys already know we will be back. This was a great episode, actually. I am so excited. But anyway, again, if you haven't yet, you see it. Actually, the box is back there. You see it. Barbie wine glasses, dragon glassware. Get yours if you haven't yet. If you have unresolved trauma, if you need a self-guided journal that I left at home today. But I'm supposed to bring it. I didn't bring it. It's okay. It's okay. Because I always leave things in the comments. Heal and Thrive, self-guided journal, self-love, self-care, self-confidence. I may even start a workshop for it. So me and people could work together on it. So I'm excited. But that was today's episode. Again, I'm Monet. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at @therealdon_shmoney and
Asia Monet, but MONET.222. I am your favorite Big Mama Asia.
And we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.